Hello again from Geneva. We continue with our interviews, and my dear friend Chris Grainger-Herr, the CEO of IWC, is with me like last year.
Absolutely.
Hi, Chris.
Hey,
how are you?
How are you? Good to see you again.
Busy days again?
Yes, busy days again, but look, what an environment to be busy in. This is much better than the office, so I'll take this any day.
Yeah. And it's really, again, a super nice design. So when we enter inside, we feel ourselves in a completely different world.
Yeah.
So what is the biggest difference, according to you, between last year and this year for IWC?
Well, I think it's quite a step change. Last year was all about the relaunch of our iconic Ingenieur. It was all about taking people back to this idea of the futuristic design lab of the 1970s. This year we go into the heart of our watchmaking DNA. It is all about the idea of the perpetual calendar creation of Kurt Klaus, the eternal calendar, and then of course all of the things we added on top of it, represented here both by the observatory, looking at the sky, looking at the universe, trying to make sense of who we are on planet Earth, and as well our manufacturing center, which is represented here behind us.
Super nice. Okay, mechanical side, design side, we have everything this year in IWC booth, but especially the colors.
Yeah.
So the horizon blue, obsidian, silver moon, and dune. Yeah. So what is the story?
Very good.
No, I worked on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look,
what is the story of those special four colors for IWC?
The special challenge with Portugieser is you have a classical wristwatch that is not retro backward looking, but always feels modern and sleek, which comes from the fact that it's an instrument DNA. It used to be a nautical instrument. It's a navigation watch. It has legibility, it has purity. It is an instrument at the end of the day. And when you update it, we wanted to make sure that we do very, very subtle upgrades that both bring that Portugieser to life. So we opened the dial up completely. We have the double box glass. We have a slimmer side profile.
Unbelievable.
And the dial really pops at you. And then we wanted to find colors that make a difference and update the Portugieser, but are still timeless enough not to become a fashion color, basically. And that's why we worked again with our color expert Pantone, with our partners, to develop Dune and Obsidian and Horizon Blue, and of course Silver Moon, which we had before, to just make sure that there's subtle variations and that follow basically the idea of the course of a day. So Silver Moon being the early morning, Horizon Blue being the midday, then the Hollywood twilight hour on the Dune, and then it goes into Obsidian, which is the nightlife. And
you selected also different case material for matching each color.
Yeah, absolutely. White, gold, steel.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So before talking about that super nice mechanical innovation, eternal calendar, I would like to ask you, how is the situation for supply chain? So last year, you remember, I was also complaining I couldn't find my watch. But honestly speaking, I cannot complain this year. I have my beautiful Mojave here. So I was able to reach also one of those engineer models.
Yeah.
So how is it going? Did you spend any extra effort to make this situation better? Or?
Yeah, I think we've seen that the entire normalization post-COVID. There was a couple of bumps in the road here and there. We try to address all of those. We are also one of the watchmakers that is really integrated, make our own cases, make our own movement parts, make some of the simpler dials. We make our own assembly, of course, and that helps us to be resilient in the face of whatever challenge comes. But for sure, it's always making sure that from strategic purchasing to the day-to-day, everything is under control. It's part of the job.
Yeah, and we are so happy.
Absolutely.
We are able to reach our watches. Okay, so we are talking about time. We are talking about watch. But in this industry, it is the first time we are talking about 45 million years.
Yes, God, it's a long time.
So what is the story behind, Chris?
The story behind is that, since 1985, we had the perpetual calendar invented by Mr. Kurt Klaus, a simple, ingenious perpetual calendar, just simply controlled with a single crown on the side of the case. But there is one limitation, well, two actually. Limitation number one is the Julian calendar runs all the way to 2100, but then in the Gregorian calendar we are working with today, you have 3 leap years that are being skipped in 2100, 200, and 300. And the Julian calendar that is basically underneath the perpetual calendar doesn't account for that. So that's why the eternal calendar now has a 400-year program wheel that rotates once only in 400 years, and that will skip those 3 leap years. So there should be 100 leap years. There's in fact only 97, and the eternal calendar fully accounts for that. So that runs all the way to the end of the calendar that we know, and the year 4000 is not defined yet, so humanity has to make up its mind whether it's a leap year or not, and then we can adjust the calendar accordingly. And the moon phase, the simple question of the moon phase is you have a lunar cycle, which is not 30 days, but actually 29 days, 12 hours, 44 minutes, and 2.88 seconds. So the closer you can get to that in your gearing, the more precise your moon phase is going to be, and your deviation is going to come later and later. So we tasked our engineers and said, make it better than 577 years. And they said,
And
hey,
they exaggerate a little bit.
they fed a supercomputer. We worked through 12 trillion combinations of gearing. And in the end, there they were, came back, yeah, we got 45 million. And we're like, oh, okay. And then, of course, like you, people come to me and say, what is the customer benefit of doing 45 million years? And I said, because we can, you know, it's just a nice engineering story.
Showing our power, showing our capabilities.
You know. And the interesting part of that is these kind of gears, you cannot machine in a traditional way because the precision you need on the teeth, you would never get with a machine surface. So they have to be done in the same manufacturing process as computer chips to get that kind of surface finish to be able to get the precision you need for 45 million years.
Yeah.
So the digital technology helping us to make a very good analog product. Very nice.
And trillions of combinations you're trying.
12 trillion, yeah.
Very good, very good. Yeah. Okay, we received some questions. Actually, you replied a part of it. But first of all, the first question, is this somehow addition to Kurt Klaus' invention, this eternal calendar? And the second one, is it going to be limited edition or special edition or what?
It's not limited edition. It's limited by production. We're planning to make 75 of those this year, but then it will continue and it could become, I mean, it's industrialized, so it could become a new tier of perpetual calendars within our portfolio.
Yeah. Okay, I don't want to forget also this new novelty, day and night, the tourbillon one. It is, honestly speaking, my personal favorite. Yes. Eternal calendar is super nice, but if I had to choose one, that super nice obsidian color and day and night.
So this was an idea by one of our youngest watchmakers, a watchmaker apprentice, who came up with this idea of a sphere as half black, half gold. You can see it from both sides in the watch, and it gives you a simple day and night indication. And it just makes that dial so poetic and so balanced. The tourbillon at 6, that day and night indicator at 9 o'clock, that obsidian deep black lacquered dial, it's just an absolute dream to look at. And you're right, it's again like our minute repeater back in the day. It's a simple watch, but it has so much detail and so much beauty to it. And I agree, it's one way when you put that one on, you won't take it off.
You wear also very well. It's very slim and super nice watch. Okay, Chris, congratulations again. It is super nice. And what we should expect for the rest of the season from IWC?
For the rest of the season, there'll be an extension to a line we launched last year. We'll come at Watches and Wonders in Shanghai a little bit later in the year. It'll be exciting.
Very good, very good. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for your time. And so congratulations again.
Well done for the Mojave. That's very, very cool. Look at that.
Thank you.
Look at that.